band, their new release tomorrow, Demons, man.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's
Yeah.
been a long time, obviously, since our first LP. So it feels like
Uh-huh.
our first LP again in a weird way.
Okay, so this has been around for a while. I thought this was a brand new project. So this, can you tell us how this got put
Oh yeah, I
together?
mean,
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, Demons had been an idea for quite some time, and it kind of stemmed back from even when May was more full time, maybe winding
Mm-hmm.
down, but still touring pretty frequently. And I just had this uh I just wondered if I could do something myself. I mean, I've been in May for so long, and
Yeah.
I would never really consider myself a songwriter. I would just have ideas pop up over and over again that weren't necessarily appropriate for May, in terms of sonically. And so I just stayed on that for a while, and eventually, once May slowed down, I thought I should try it. And I've always referred to it as, it was initially an experiment, not in the genre sense, but in this question of whether or not I could actually do it. Could I actually
Mm-hmm.
write 4 or 5 songs that I would be confident enough to put out to the public? And so at some point, I just decided to do it. And I think what helped was who I found to do it with me. There's
Gotcha.
Jonathan Anderson, who had been a recording engineer in the Norfolk area. And so I contacted him, and he was the right person that for what I was doing, just because he didn't let me sit too long and think about things. He just said, just do it, just go. And so I think that probably benefits a lot of people who are kind of going out there for the first time and putting something out
Gotcha.
that, you could think and think and think and think and think and always rationalize waiting. But he was the right person, kind of push me along, keep me moving. And then Drew Orton, the drummer, he came in, and he was just going to play on that first EP. I don't even know when the first EP came out at this point. But I do know that I feel like it's definitely been over 2 years since the first full length came out. Um,
Gotcha.
and so in those years, I just we became a band, and we started playing shows, and it's been the same. We don't play out too frequently. It's a pretty infrequent thing because we're all busy with families and jobs and whatnot. However, we
Absolutely.
have this kind of nice opportunity with Spartan Records to have a place to kind of put music out. And so this is our second full length, and it comes out tomorrow. Yeah, I'm excited. We
Yeah,
all are.
I'm looking it up right now. So your first EP, great, came out in 2015,
Yeah,
and
okay.
then yeah, wow. So
So
5 years.
yeah, 2015. I mean, that's when my daughter was born. She was born in December of 2015. So yeah, and she's 5, so pretty
Uh-huh.
wild.
And then you had another one in 2017, and obviously the
Mhm.
new one tomorrow. Obviously this is very heavier than May. So talk about like your heavy influence on like bands that you kind of grew up loving, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up initially, as a punk rock kid,
Mm-hmm.
and into the hardcore scene as well. I mean, I was in high school in the 90s. Um, and then my early college, and at the turn of the century, I guess in the 2000, 2001, it was still kind of punk and hardcore. I was playing in a punk band in Florida. And so that was kind of my
Okay.
musical upbringing and the very applied sense of playing shows and touring. And so I always had that kind of foundational dimension. I was big into Victory Records, the whole Earth Crisis and Strife, Poison the Well, a lot of Florida hardcore, because I'm from Florida originally.
Mm-hmm.
We were on Eulogy Recordings, my old band. And so it was wild because we were just like, we were, pop punk band by every dimension of the term. And
Yeah.
we did a Eulogy tour, and Eulogy Recordings is a hardcore label out of South Florida. And they have bands like Until the End and This Day Forward, Keepsake for a while. Just really, a lot of more brutal hardcore bands. I would refer to them as brutal, especially Until
Yeah.
the End. So we went on a tour with that, the Eulogy tour, and we ended up playing CBGB's at one point before it closed, and which I'm super, thankful for. But
That's
I think you heard a
awesome.
band called Brothers Keeper by any chance?
I think sound familiar. Yeah.
Brothers Keeper's an older hardcore band, and the singer of that band got stabbed at the show we played at CBGB's.
Oh, that
So,
was that one. Okay. Wow.
and
Yeah,
I just
I
can't. you know, I
In
can't
high school,
believe
I
that
was
I was
into
there.
hardcore for a brief like year or so. I used to have the straight edge X's, and
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in Maryland, D.C., and there used to be a thing
Mm-hmm.
every year called the Super Bowl of Hardcore. It was
Okay.
always the day before the Super Bowl at the Capitol Ballroom. They had like all the victory bands, VOD, everything. It was so cool. Yeah.
So I mean, that was the world I kind of cut my teeth on, and then I, like anyone else, you start listening to more things, especially if you're in the music, playing music, you're just always learning more. And so eventually
Yeah.
my old band toured with May,
Mhm.
and then I joined May. So,
Okay.
I am in May, and May started 2003 for me. And so that was like all of my 20s. So obviously May's more
Wow.
of a indie rock pop band at certain times. And
Yeah.
so um, I've always identified myself with the hardcore and punk rock scene as much as I like the craft of song, and I like a lot of like anyone else, but when it comes to like
Hmm.
where I associate and connect my identity to, it's harder music. And so that just for me, once I wasn't doing May full time, excuse me,
Hmm.
um, I just started wanting to play heavier music again. And this is also at the time where um, I was exploring the heavy music more. I mean, I remember really getting into like Super Drone Ritual for a time, and just Converge, and these bands that I've
Yeah.
liked for a while. But um, there's these bands that come along that just kind of transform the way you look at music and want to do music. And I think that for me, a band like Converge was, and this band called Mouth Eater that's from Norfolk, Virginia Beach area is also just a super, super cool band. So they were doing things I wanted to hear, but I wasn't necessarily hearing. And I think that's what Demons was for me, is like I kept hearing things in my mind that I wasn't necessarily hearing out in the music I like. Now, this is not to say it doesn't exist. This is merely to
Yeah.
emphasize that I was kind of learning. And so I'm not trying to say that we're the most original band or we're doing something new and radical. It's just, I just wanted to hear something more
Hmm.
consistently and that I was a part of. So that was where I kind of turned back to heavy music.
Gotcha.
Not back, but just kind of explored it again more. And
Hmm.
I'm in that space now all the time. Bands like Intercourse or Whores or Piss Jeans, that kind of like Black Flagish punk rock, really heaviness. I don't know. It's just like what
Yeah.
I really dig. Yeah.
Well, I love it. I mean, I'm a huge May fan too, but I also like heavy music too. So this is
Mhm.
cool. So I mean, have you ever done Demons live? I assume, I guess, in the past, or?
Oh yeah, we definitely played out as much as we can, right? So we would do it a
Hmm.
lot more if we could. It's just a matter of the
Yeah.
fact that, even if it wasn't, May's not, entirely frequent either. So it's just a matter of
Yeah.
work and our obligations here. So we did a short tour with Red Fang. I want to say that was in 2000, maybe 18, maybe. And that was like just like a 4 day kind of thing, but I was surprised we got on it because Red Fang's super rad. And so we played some great shows. We played Fest a couple years ago in Gainesville. We're playing that again this year. And we'll do
Oh,
short
cool.
runs when we can, but we'll play around Norfolk, a lot. We
Hmm.
play, we haven't played for a while, obviously no one has, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Sadly.
we do definitely play out, but we just can't like go full tilt with tours
Gotcha.
like we'd like to.
Well, I want to talk about your new single that just got released, Full Stop. I mean, the guitar riffs are so awesome in this song. I mean, I definitely want to hear this song live at some point. Talk about the writing process for that one.
Yeah, I think that it was a really kind of, I mean, I think all the riffs that I write for this band
Yeah.
start pretty dumb in the sense that they're just like a string, and I'm just like going up and down the neck on one string. And I think that
Oh.
what I hear, when I get inspired to do something, it's mostly because I hear one part of one song. I'm like, oh, that sounds really cool. And then maybe I start playing around with what I feel like I could do with that vibe, that kind of theme. And I think that's what that was. I don't know what I was listening to at the time. I know that we like playing around with the drop B tuning. This song, the low E string is tuned down to a drop B. Um, and that just adds this kind of you can't really predict tonality was going to happen, and pitchy, because everything gets really warbly when you have a string tuned that low and with guitars that aren't necessarily set up for that. And so I think it was just a combination of wanting to, write a fast, kind of more, straightforward song. And I think there's probably Queens of the Stone Age in there, that probably inspired that kind of thing. And so that's what that was. A lot of the songs are just kind of like, I have the guitar right here, and I'll just kind of play something for a few seconds and like, okay, well, I'll record a voice memo and then come back to it. And I think that's what that probably was. And then when I write the lyrics, and I write a lot of times with the idea that Chris, our the guitar player and singer, I think I like his voice better than mine. So a lot of times I'll write for him, or I'll write with him singing, like in my mind, like, okay, I think that Chris should sing this. And I can't remember which it was for this one. I think I was probably imagining myself singing the full time, but I don't know. So yeah, and then the whole outro kind of situation was mostly Chris and Drew.
That part's awesome,
honestly, probably Chris and Drew and John just kind of like playing around, and
the bridge part's great too.
So yeah, so it's a great song. It's a lot of fun, and we have played it live a couple of times, but not, this.
I see you had a video. I don't know if it's a music video, but I guess it's you guys in rehearsal studios performing it live. So it's fun,
Yeah, so we just did that. A buddy Will came out and recorded some of the songs we were playing, and we definitely wanted to do that one because we had planned to release it, as a single or whatever before the record came out.
The album comes out tomorrow. Is there going to be like any live streams, music videos, anything else coming up, or?
But definitely more music videos. Maybe a live stream. I just got an email that was had this idea for a live stream, but we're kind of touchy on that kind of thing because we're not necessarily a live stream band. I feel like
the kind of music kind of really need to experience live.
Have to be there, that's not to say we wouldn't be interested in exploring the idea. So no live streams yet, but definitely more music videos. We have another live kind of situation that we did for a song that wasn't a single, and we also have a video for Play Acting Virtue that hasn't been released yet. And that was more of that wasn't a lot. We played actually with the last show we played before COVID kind of shut everything down was with DOA and the Dead Kennedys at the Norva.
Oh wow!
And we had so that was really cool. And then we had a friend come out and do some documentation for that. So hopefully that'll see the light of day soon. So yeah, we have some more stuff down, on the way.
Is it possible for any shows in the fall? I think they're playing in September. I think it's some festival in Atlanta.
May has some shows.
Or not Atlanta, Alabama, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, May's doing the Furnace Fest and some other shows with Juliana Theory. The full Everglow. Was it Emotion is the Everglow situation.
Yes, there you
go. So we're excited about that. And then Demons, we have fests lined up, and
awesome.
Beyond that, nothing. We're trying to get something for the record release show, and hopefully in the next 2 months or so, if things keep going the way they're going. In Virginia, at least, things are kind of emerging a little bit, so that's good. And it's just kind of with Demons, like we take the opportunities that come our way if we can. I mean, like I said, I have a kid, and I work at a record store, and I teach 4 courses at the universities around here. Jonathan, our bass player, has full-time job, 3 kids. So honestly, Demons is this kind of ritual for us. It's not necessarily something that we're kind of jumping in the van for. But it's not that we wouldn't, it's just that we necessarily can't really and be responsible at the same time. So it's kind of this weird dynamic that can become frustrating sometimes because we do want to just kind of go. But at the same time, when I was 25 and coming home with no money from a tour, that's one thing. I'm 39 and I have a family. So that's the stakes are a little different.
I hear you, man. I got 2 kids now too, so it's hard, but we're still making the dream come true.
Yeah, we're still we're still in the game a little bit, so
yeah. Well, I'm in Orlando, so hopefully you ever play here. Zebrahead did like a tour with, what was the guitarist's other band? I'm blanking, but would you ever do like a May Demons tour and play double?
That would be interesting. I don't like the idea, but
Yeah.
That's today. I mean, I think, things change. It would be, I don't think the May crowd would necessarily identify as much. And that's not,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's just, and I don't think the demon, it's just one of those things where I think it was important for me though, if I was going to do anything, my own, it would have to be something radically different.
Yeah.
I can't really, I don't think it would be worth anything that I would
Maybe,
do that would
maybe a
be in the
festival or
realm.
something like that, where you can
What's
do
that?
both. Maybe like a festival. I mean, that was great about
Yeah.
Warped Tour because you had the indie pop bands, pop rock, hardcore, the
Yeah, I
real punk
actually
bands. It was
wanted
such a
Demons to go on
diversity.
Furnace Fest this year,
Yeah.
but it didn't work out. But maybe
Hmm.
if they do it again, we'll get on to maybe we'll be on too. That'd be really cool actually to do something like that. Be on the same festival and just kind of see how that would. The dynamic's really
Yeah.
interesting to me.
That's a great
You're in
lineup.
Orlando though. I'm from Orlando and
Oh really?
originally.
Yeah, I just moved
Yeah,
here, so
yeah.
I
So
I spent last
yeah.
15 years in California. I don't expect you to remember, but I got to interview May, I think in Santa Ana, California, the last tour you guys did.
Okay.
And then yeah, I came out here. My wife and I bought a vacation home out here, and then we came out here last March, got stuck out here, and then kind of fell in love with it. So we just moved here.
Yeah.
So where did you grow up exactly?
I grew up in a town called Mount Dora, which is about 30
Okay.
miles north of Orlando. And then, so I went to UCF for a short time
Oh
before it was
wow.
this kind of whole city. It was big at the time, but now it's just kind of massive. So yeah, I spent a lot of time. Then that's where my old band Unsung Sievers is from. We grew up
Okay.
playing the social and places like DIY Records, which isn't there anymore. So yeah, and I love Central Florida still, and my brother's in St. Pete. So
Okay.
I would definitely love to get down there with Demons just because I know so many people in Orlando
Yeah.
and Florida in general. So I'm trying to find a way to kind of do a one stop, play North Carolina or something or Atlanta, and then go straight to like Orlando or St. Pete before Fest, and then play Fest
Definitely.
in Halloween.
So
So we'll
how did you
see.
end up going to Norfolk then eventually if you grew up here? You moved.
Because of May. So I was in
Okay.
Florida until about 2004. And then May started touring so much, I didn't move or anything. I would just stay in Virginia between tours. It would be like a week, two
Oh,
weeks or
so you
so.
joined while you still were in Florida. Okay. Wow.
Yes, yes. And then I moved to Virginia officially in 2006. And so I came here via May because once the band was located here, and now I'm the only one here.
Yeah, I was gonna
David's in
say.
Nashville and Jacob's in New York. Rob and Mark, who were in the band previously, they left
Yeah.
and the band 2007, but I'm still close with them, so we'll still hang out every once in a while. They're in the area, but Dave and Jacob, who I'm in the band still with, they are in different parts of the country, which makes it pretty difficult to be a band, just because
Hmm.
logistics get pretty intense.
Well, that's gonna
But
be my other question about Demons. Did you guys actually record all together, or did you send tracks to each other, or
oh yeah, we practice together. I mean, I don't have a great setup here in terms of like,
Yeah.
people with their studios and sitting and trading tracks. Like I need to get there, but I'm not there yet. So Demons we're all just around here and we just started practicing, so we do things kind of in the more, quote unquote traditional sense. And Chris was the one though, because the EP was just me, Drew, and John, and they were just my
Gotcha.
songs. The first LP, Embrace Wolf, that was more collective because Drew and John had started writing with me at that point, and we got Chris Matthews, who's the other guitar player and singer, and he had some input creatively. He was writing some stuff,
Hmm.
but it was still this kind of a learning period, and so that's one other reason this record sounds the way it does. It's because Chris is much more involved in the heavy music scene than I am. And so, that's why I like working with him so much and the way that we do, just because he's always bringing kind of a new approach for me sonically and creatively to kind of focus on, and he'll send me bands and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
that really helps. And I think that really framed the nature of this record a whole lot, because while I'm kind of into the fast stuff,
Yeah.
propaganda, and things like that, he comes through like he liked really really slow stuff like Sun, and and so then we just kind of meet in the middle and do our best to kind of create something that works for Demons
Very
USA.
cool. Well, I can't wait to check out the rest of the album. It gets released tomorrow through Spartan Records. Congratulations, and I can't wait to hopefully see you guys live some point in Orlando, either with May or Demons.
Yeah, that'd be great. And thank you so much for taking the time. And yeah, record come out tomorrow.